Look, if you clicked this video, you're either a Steam Deck owner or interested in buying one. So just buy a Steam Deck, bro. What are you waiting for? Okay, if you're not convinced, let me show you what you're missing out on. Now, I know some people say you should save your money and get a console or a more powerful handheld. And then there are some people who act like this device was passed down to humanity like the flame of Prometheus himself. So who's right? Well, I think it all boils down to there being 6 different types of people that'll find value in the Steam Deck, specifically the Steam Deck OLED. Let's see if you fit into one of these groups. In today's economy, it's tough to be a gamer. You gotta decide between buying the latest friend slop game that your friends assure you will outlive the average 72-hour hype fest, and, well, bills. If you find yourself sitting at a cardboard box with a monitor balanced precariously on top and a potato PC that pumps out frames like each one physically hurts it, then you'll find that not only will the Steam Deck be an upgrade, but you likely already have the beginnings of a Steam library that you've been building for months to years. This means you won't immediately be faced with the pressure of buying $70 to $80 games on top of the console price. You can just play what you already own and wait for the next Steam sale to get anything new. Now that's value. Have you ever thought, I want to play games in the most casual way possible? You may be a cozy gamer. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way either. Cozy gaming might be the purest way of using video games to decompress. I see my wife curled up on the couch playing Stardew Valley, and sometimes I get a little jealous that my brain is hardwired to take an Elden Ring or Arc Raider-sized beating in order to decompress. Well, guess what? Any game can be cozy on the Steam Deck. Now I can curl up on the couch and yell and demoralize the guy who just downed me in Arc Raiders while my arms go numb from holding the Steam Deck in an uncomfortable position, too scared to move from my current position because I heard footsteps 2 floors above me and an intimidating dubstep noise that sounds suspiciously like a horrifying cross between the Twilight Beast from Twilight Princess and a malicious Roomba. So, cozy gaming. There are so many amazing indie games that are specifically geared towards the cozy community. And one of the best parts about cozy games is they're not usually that graphically intense, making them a perfect candidate for the Steam Deck. Basically, you get entry-level desktop PC performance, but shrunk into a cozy little Switch-sized package, which leads perfectly into the next person. I travel a lot for work, and after getting the Steam Deck, I immediately became that guy. You know the one. Right after takeoff, I dig around in my bag only to pull out a device that looks like it ate a Switch and is currently on steroids. Then pull out 3 battery banks to assist. I'm over here absolutely locked in on Megabonk, while the person next to me is fearfully watching the Great British Bake Off, hoping I don't throw the brick in my hands from the sheer anger that continues to build as I die to the boss over and over and over again. It is an otherworldly experience playing PC games on a plane. But I also use the Steam Deck in my hotel room as a mobile gaming setup. I hook it up to a monitor, keyboard, and mouse, basically a laptop with extra steps. Or, if I'm feeling daring, go raw on the controller. And I'm easily able to play friend slop games like Repo or Peak online with my friends. Nothing beats getting back from working all day only to kick back and listen to my friends scramble and scream in whatever horror friend slop game is all the rage this week. But like, is there water? Nothing hits deeper than nostalgia. Nostalgia covers the things we used to enjoy or remember fondly in a nice, pleasant framing filled with childlike wonder and no flaws. Now, some companies want to capitalize on that using something called nostalgia bait, releasing a game from our childhood at full price, or ensuring there are no ways to easily play those games or watch those movies on modern hardware. That's where I draw the line. Sometimes I want the freedom to play those games in all their original glory, without having to worry about greedy DRM practices and crappy remake graphics. Now, some retro gamers are hardcore purists, and they refuse to play games on anything other than original hardware. But the rest of us emulate. I cannot convey how seamless the experience of setting up emulators is on the Steam Deck, especially if you already have a ROM library. Seriously, just run the EmuDeck installer, point it to the ROMs folder, and boom, you're done. Not only that, but the experience of emulating games on the Steam Deck is fantastic. Thanks to Steam's controller layout options, you can map the controller however you want for each console and save it as a preset. or use community-made presets. You can also add all your retro games directly to your Steam library, so you can launch them without having to go through the emulator. Since retro games are also not that graphically intense, you can expect much better battery life while playing them. When I was playing Twilight Princess for the GameCube, I'd play for 7 to 8 hours without having to plug in. Overall, while there are other devices out there made for emulating games, nothing will come close to the versatility of the Steam Deck. For the longest time, I could not figure out how to get desktop streaming running smoothly. But after tinkering with it for a bit, oh boy, it is a game changer. Now, what if I told you there was a way to enjoy all the benefits of handheld gaming without any of the performance drawbacks? Sounds pretty good, right? All you need is a beast gaming PC and a wired, lightning-fast internet connection. Good news. If you're a PC gamer, then you probably already have at least one of those. Streaming my desktop games solely through Steam Remote Play was a seamless experience once I got it set up. You just hit stream and voila, it launches the game on the PC and then closes it when I'm done. Want to play Battlefield 6 at 90 FPS while comfortably seated on the toilet? Well, congratulations. As long as your PC and internet can handle it, you can do it. An even better solution I found is using Moonlight and Sunlight, an open source alternative to Steam Remote Play. Then I can even play non-Steam games remotely. I tested out using Fortnite, a notoriously non-deck friendly game, and it ran flawlessly, allowing me to once again get roasted by 6-year-olds for my lack of building skills. Only this time, I could do it from the comfort of my bed. It's nice to have the pillows there to catch the tears as they fall. The sixth and final person who I think will love the Steam Deck. If you find yourself loving the process of customizing and maximizing capabilities, you are going to love the Steam Deck. Not only is the hardware extremely upgrade and consumer friendly, but SteamOS is just a fancy theme pasted on top of a full Linux distribution, meaning it unlocks all the customization and community that comes along with that. There are so many custom plugins already made for the deck that fix broad problems all the way down to niche features. You want to make it so your Steam Deck can use lossless scaling? Someone made a plugin for that. It allows you to boost your frame rate artificially using the lossless scaling algorithm.
Oh, brother!
I know. FrameGen. Listen, if there was ever a valid use case for it, it's on a handheld console. The ability to boost a game to 90 FPS with little to no latency or performance hits still feels like magic to me, and saves the experience for a lot of games on handheld in my opinion. Another magic trick is console streaming. I played the majority of Clair Obscura Expedition 33 on Game Pass straight on my Steam Deck. Disguise your Steam Deck as a PlayStation Portal using a custom application someone built to do exactly that. That's how I played the majority of Spider-Man 2. There are just endless possibilities if you're willing to put in a little bit of work, troubleshooting, and research. I find myself on a new customization project almost every time I pick up the Steam Deck. It's always fun to think up something and ask, I wonder if the deck can do this, only to realize someone else has already had the same thought and created something to help. If you relate even a little with any of the 6 people I listed in this video, you will love the Steam Deck. There are so many different levels to it that I honestly believe pretty much anyone can enjoy the Steam Deck. However, there are a few people who should probably steer clear. If you're the kind of person who values being able to play most online multiplayer games on handheld, then this will not work in most cases, and something that runs Windows might be a better option for you. The Steam Deck also won't play most graphically intense games at high resolutions or frame rates, and sometimes it even struggles with older games that have outdated Windows dependencies or something. You remember how we talked about nostalgia earlier? The Steam Deck reminds me of that era where handhelds were cool. I remember the idea of being able to carry around my Game Boy or DS wherever I went blew my mind. I could have my games with me whether I was at the dentist, my grandma's, a road trip, wherever. While the Steam Deck is definitely nowhere near as portable, it is a gaming PC, basically the size of an overgrown controller. It still makes me all warm and fuzzy when I pick it up. If you go into this buying experience thinking of it as a device that has many capabilities and fits very well into the categories we talked about today, then you will have a blast. Well, are you convinced? Let me know your Steam Deck experience in the comments below, and remember, just get a Steam Deck, bro.